he sabotaged his own career.
I
would
agree
say
with that.
he was never going to win a Ballon d'Or whilst he played in the same team as Lionel Messi.
There's Harry Kane. For me, he's the best player in the world right now.
On his day, Vinny Jr.'s up there. So I think Neymar would, 2014-15, Neymar would be the best player in the world now.
Can you imagine that cold wind just bleaking down the northeast coast and fucking Neymar will have his woolly jumper on knitting on the side?
And Baja's not even there anymore. I think he would have liked Baja.
So it's been a bit of a controversial topic over the last week or so. Obviously, you saw Rooney come out saying that he never classed Neymar as world class. So I thought we would have a chat about whether Neymar ever has been world class and what players are better than Neymar. So my first thing is, I'm just going to ask you individually, has Neymar ever been world class or elite? Josh?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Jeff?
No.
Right, okay. I would say he definitely has, personally, myself. So,
Do you not think he's flattered to deceive them?
no, I would sit here and say that he sabotaged his own career.
I
And
agree
say
with that.
But I would say
That's a
that
good word.
period when he was at Barcelona with Messi and
Yeah,
Suarez,
okay.
Yeah.
there was arguments for, there was games or periods of seasons where he carried Barcelona more than Messi in that.
Yeah.
I mean, look
period.
at the Champions League campaign. He would.
But I think he hasn't had that. For me, the reason I'm saying no is he's not had that longevity.
Yeah.
He's like been. I don't mean a flash in the pan like that, but you're talking about Barcelona.
I think that's where you can say maybe his career hasn't been world class.
I think
or
sabotage
elite.
is a great
But
word.
There's definitely periods in his career where he was unbelievable.
100%,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
especially the time of Barcelona.
Yeah.
To me, world class means you're able to perform at the highest level internationally at the club level to justify your place in a top team at that level. And for me, that's not debatable with Neymar.
He's
I
the top
agree.
scorer for Brazil as well, isn't he?
He is the top scorer for Brazil, but in 30 more games than Pelé played.
I saw Mr. James's Park in the Olympics when they played New Zealand. He was brilliant.
What about? So obviously, we're all in agreement that his peak is at Barcelona.
Yeah.
So when he was at Barcelona in that period of time, who else in the world was better than him?
I mean, for me, that time was. I mean, that year. So we're talking about Barcelona. He finished third in Ballon d'Or. So Ronaldo was better than him.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that it's easy. I'm going to sit here and say that Messi and Ronaldo are in a league of their own. So let's take them out of the
100%.
equation. Outside of that, my opinion was always it was then Neymar and Bale.
Yeah, it was, and Suarez too.
Suarez is up there, I think, because with that triumvirate, as I would call them as Barca, I think there's not one that stood out as distinctive.
Well, they were known
as.
as. I mean, between them, I think there was over 100 goals or whatever scored between them, just in one season, which is like crazy. And like people, when they talk about trios, they talk about obviously Bale, Benzema, Ronaldo. They talk about
Rooney, Tevez,
Ronaldo. But then people always say MSN, Messi, Suarez, Neymar.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, for me, even his Champions League campaign that year for Neymar, outstanding. I think he was the one who scored. I don't think Messi scored in the Champions League final. I think Neymar was one of the ones who scored in that Champions League final. And I think to have that elite level, to be at that elite level, you have to come up in the big games.
How
and
old
he
was he when he
definitely
went to
came.
Barcelona?
He went from Santos, and I think
young,
So he was like
he
18,
was
19,
so he was young.
20.
But then
Was he there 3 or 4 years?
he was only there about 3 years because then he went to PSG, and I think it was his elite time in football was that whole Barcelona campaign and the first year of like PSG when Mbappe started coming into.
Why did he
the
leave
frame.
Barcelona? Was it just?
It was money. I think Barcelona maybe.
I think it was a
struggling.
money and a mixture of he realised he was probably, and obviously this hasn't worked out for him, but he realised he was never going to win a Ballon d'Or whilst he played in the same team as Lionel Messi. He needed to go somewhere else and beat Lionel Messi. Like that's what needed to happen. And obviously I know they love each other and stuff, so it wasn't like a personal thing. I think for his career, for him to be named the best player in the world, which in reality he probably wasn't ever going to be whilst them two players were still around, but to give him a chance of doing it, he needed to not be playing with him.
That's a strange dichotomy, though, to have a player who would have the hunger to move for that reason, to prove himself the best, and also to have the same player who goes to Saudi at the age of 31.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think going to PSG and it then not working made him realise he was just going to do everything for money for the rest of his career, which again, you can't blame him.
That's a sad story, that
is that not the reason he went to PSG though?
It was monetary as well, you know, as in they had to basically pay an absolute fortune to get him out of Barcelona.
Yeah, but also like PSG offered, I think it was 180 million, and they were never going to turn that down. Like, and if I mean, anyone would be stupid. Even Barcelona, I know they were in money troubles, but someone came to you and offered you 180 million for a player, you're going to accept it.
Yeah, I think it's you know, there was Barcelona only let him go because the fee was crazy. They didn't want him to leave, and he only left because the money was crazy, and he saw it as his opportunity to become the best player in the world. Which obviously we could sit here in hindsight now and say that didn't work. But you know, I don't think, like you say, I think it's Suarez, Bale. I wouldn't put I don't think Benzema was as
not
good
at that time.
At that time. No. I don't think he was. You know, and then you come to Premier League. There wasn't in that period. There wasn't anybody that came close. I don't think to
Neymar. I would argue Aguero's up there. I think Aguero is similar to Suarez in that he's the elite centre forward who's not just one of the best finishers on earth. Yeah, but he's got that dynamism.
But I just think when you look at like Neymar, he was in the category of Messi and that where he literally on his own could change a game. Whereas I think Aguero needed people with him. The same as, you know, like it might just be the position that they played in. You know, they're obviously a bit further up the pitch. It was sometimes the same with Suarez and stuff, wasn't it? Whereas Neymar just proved that like you could give him the ball and there could be 4 or 5 people near him and it didn't matter. You know, you could put as many people near him as you wanted and he would just make them all look stupid. Like, so yeah, I think that, you know, we all agree with that. And then, so if he was at his peak now, so take them Barcelona years now, and he played now with everybody else where they are, would he be the best player in the world right now?
No.
Who would be?
I think there's Harry Kane. For me, he's the best player in the world right now, and I don't think he would be hitting the numbers and the figures that Harry Kane.
But we're not asking about numbers and figures. We're just saying, like, so in his peak in them years, he was doing 30-plus goals, boatload assists, playing for Barcelona. So what we're saying is now, them stats he did, them performances he did, if that was right now, is there a player in the world that's better than you? And you can say Harry Kane because it's not.
Are you on about like today though?
Right
now.
So now,
in my opinion, no. I mean, on his day, Vinny Jr.'s up there.
Yeah.
No, for me.
No, on his day, he absolutely is. Vinny Jr. has been absolutely dominant in major games.
But you could sit here and say Lamine Yamal as well. Like, you know, but not consistently enough. Like Neymar
I agree.
For me, Vinny Jr. and Lamine Yamal, I think they're nowhere near the player that Neymar is.
I disagree.
I don't think you can say, because I think the argument we're saying is they're not the player based on a season-long consistency, but I mean, Yamal does stuff that only Messi could do. Like he's literally, but he doesn't do it consistently enough to be Messi, or even to compete with Neymar, in my opinion, as to be like, would they be the best player in the world?
And on that basis, I think Neymar would, like 2014-15, Neymar would be the best player in the world now. Kane, I think, is a different argument. As you know, I think Harry Kane's by far the greatest English centre forward ever playing in the Premier League. But
there's also Mbappe.
He's so efficient, Harry Kane. He's not that flair player. He's not someone who's got that amazing technical ability. And I would put Harry Kane on a similar level to Haaland, in that Haaland is a robot, but you wouldn't place him in the category of Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue because they're two completely different players. Like, if you want goals, you want Harry Kane. If you want someone to take a player on, you want Neymar.
But I think you can still argue with that Neymar would get you 30-plus goals in a season at his peak when he was playing there. So it's like...
I mean, 2015, he got 24 goals, 12 assists.
Yeah,
so
I think it's... As well, you've got Mbappe, but for me, Mbappe is not the same player now. He's a striker.
Yeah.
Like when he was given that, left wing position, which is where Neymar would be playing, when Mbappe played there for Monaco and PSG, I mean, we can't argue. He's still phenomenal as a striker.
Oh,
but if
100%.
you were to put him in an argument of being the best player in the world, I think if he was playing on the left like he was before, he would fall into that argument. But right now, he doesn't play there, does he?
For me, Mbappe is someone who I could see his career going the same way as Neymar, in that someone who we look back on and think that they didn't quite live up to the hype that they were supposed to be.
Semenyo, Man City.
Yeah.
I would put him as much. Seriously, why can't he be considered as one of the best players in the world today?
Who's Semenyo?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say
Why
that.
not?
I wouldn't. I mean, I get
because
what
he
you
doesn't play in Spain.
No, it's not that. It's just
he's been in Bournemouth. He's been for like a mid-table club for so long.
As far as a Premiership player, and you tell me a better Premiership player today.
Stats wise, yeah, numbers wise.
But I mean, you're talking about goals scored and assists, so why can't you consider him against Neymar this year?
I suppose it's like
he's
the
not
ability
the player,
to
he's not the player Neymar
really
is.
change a game and really like just take a game by the scruff of its neck and absolutely just put his imprint on it. And Semenyo was so effective, but I don't think
you do get stuff as well. You know, again, it comes with the reputation where like Semenyo can go completely missing for a game, even at Man City, and everyone just kind of like forgets. Whereas, you know, if you like watch Real Madrid and Mbappe does nothing, straight away we're all like, ew, fucking rubbish, he's done that. Do you know what I mean? Because our expectation levels of Mbappe are here.
Yeah.
So like when he doesn't hit that, you talk about it. Whereas with Semenyo, our expectation levels are here. And when he performs here, we're like, oh my God, he's amazing. But if he performs here, we just like accept it.
I think the difference as well is that Neymar, and we talk about Mbappe as well, they're big game players for me. I talk about the Champions League final with Neymar.
Is it not just like
Mbappe
sort of
in the World Cup final?
Yeah. It is a bit of media
it's not.
It's also the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, like Semenyo had a good game in the. It was only the Carabao Cup compared to a Champions League, but he was one of the better players in the game.
But one of the reasons I went to the Olympics at St James's Park to watch Brazil was because Neymar was playing.
Yeah.
And on the day it was because people had been talking about him for years. And on the day, that was 2012, wasn't it? So on the day, he was great.
I mean, people compare him to the closest thing to Ronaldinho in terms of like flair, the type of player he is.
Looks.
So yeah, but I find that hard to disagree with. Like that's the player I think Neymar is.
I agree. I think that's the level I would put him at. That he's like brilliant flair player, can do things that other footballers can't do on the pitch. But in terms of being that like winner, absolute winner over the course of his career,
he wasn't.
Nah.
Yeah, it's not in his career, is it? He's had segments where he has.
Yeah.
And it falls in a time with Messi and Ronaldo as well, which is hard to get individual awards when you're playing in the same league, especially.
But someone like Mo Salah, again, I think he's been underrated over his career because for somebody who scored the goals and made the assists, I mean, he's never won a Ballon d'Or because it's fixed.
Yeah, well, it's just a PR thing.
But if if Mo Salah had gone to Barcelona or Real Madrid, would he?
Possibly.
Not if he played in a period when. Because Messi and Ronaldo were just always going to win.
No, I appreciate that. That's what I'm saying, though.
But if Messi would have retired and then Salah took his position on the right wing for Barcelona, there's a chance he might have won a Ballon d'Or, But I just think whilst them guys were in the equation, it was never, because it was just...
But the problem with the Ballon d'Or isn't that they're just looking like Mbappe is another one. You know, they just get a name and they keep that name in the forefront for decades, as opposed to giving it to players who should... Like Gareth Bale should have got a Ballon d'Or. You know, when he's time at Madrid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I view him and Neymar as like they were both just around when there was unfortunately two absolute elite players.
Exactly that.
If them two players had never touched the earth, we'd be talking about Neymar and Bale in the same way we talk about Messi and Ronaldo.
Because
the Andy Murray of football, basically.
Those two are the players that were at the clubs, unfortunately, with Messi, with Ronaldo, but then. Those two were the players that when Messi, so for instance, when I think Ronaldo was injured in the Copa del Rey final, Bale absolutely ran that show. Yeah. There's games where Messi hasn't been there and Neymar's absolutely ran the game. Like that Champions League campaign I could come back to, he was brilliant that year.
So obviously, we're talking, I'm going to give you some names and we're going to talk about some are current players, some are ex-players, and we're going to say, Neymar at his absolute peak, and then whatever this player is at their absolute peak, who are you taking?
Okay.
So we'll start nice and easy with the one that I think was spoken about somewhere. I can't remember who said it, but it was Neymar or Saka. And the decision was actually Saka.
Nah, you can tell by that reaction that it's nowhere near.
It was either on Overlap or TalkSport or someone said that they would.
It was Jason Cundy who said it.
Saka was better than
and which is absolutely insane. And
that must have been rage bait.
It's rage bait and it's 100% Neymar.
I love Cundy as a broadcaster, but he's obviously doing that for...
Has Saka hit his peak?
Make it a bit more difficult then. Neymar or Bale?
Still Neymar for me.
I'm going Gareth Bale with that one.
I'm going Bale. You said Neymar.
Yeah.
I would probably say Bale just because my personal preference of what I like to watch was Bale, but I think you could flip a coin and be happy with whatever you took out.
Different. Like Bale's got such athleticism
Power.
and physicality, and Neymar's more about, if you like, kind of the flair.
I mean, I do like the flair, but I think in Bale's case he had a bit of the flair as well. The way he would take.
He was just like,
on the wing.
Yeah, he was a
great finisher.
What about Neymar or Rooney?
That's a tough one, I think.
So
and we're not talking about
again,
we're not talking about longevity of career.
No,
we're just
no,
saying at their absolute peak, who was better.
So for me, Rooney's peak is that. Again, I'm going back to that period of Tevez, Ronaldo, Rooney,
or that fucking Euros when he first got in the England team.
Yeah, that as well.
Incredible, wasn't it?
But I loved Rooney in that season, so I'm probably going Rooney.
I think I always come back to the who do you want to come off the subs bench? You're looking for a sub, and you got one sub left. You got Neymar and Rooney sat there, and I'm going for Rooney.
What are you saying, Jeff?
I'm going to go Neymar.
Yeah, I would probably
only because again I'm going to flip what I said about Bale. It's that flair thing, isn't it?
It is. The two completely different players.
When Rooney was younger, he did seem to have a bit more of that in him.
Yeah, I think it's like, again, what we're just saying is like at the peak of their careers, who do you think was a better player? And it's like,
but I think them 2 seasons that I didn't watch Neymar Barcelona, I think I would probably pick him as for that one reason.
Mm-hmm.
What about Neymar or Shearer?
Neymar.
Again,
we'll go back to flair, doesn't it? On the other hand, I mean, there's no way that Neymar's going to score 260 goals in the Premiership, but, I know someone that did.
Yeah, but you said Neymar.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's back to flair. Again, it's all back to...
So just because you're going flair. I mean...
Yeah, so what he's saying there is that Shearer's longevity is better than Neymar's.
Yes.
But if you were talking about at the peaks, who was a better player...
Oh, yeah, I'm going
Neymar's
Neymar.
the better player at his peak, isn't he? What about Neymar or Haaland?
Depends what you want, again, because
I think
Haaland's so efficient at scoring, but also Haaland's gone missing.
Players.
Gone missing a lot in the last year or two, so I'm taking Neymar.
I would take Neymar.
I'm taking Neymar as well, yeah.
Neymar or Kevin De Bruyne?
Kevin De Bruyne.
No, Neymar.
Kevin De Bruyne.
I think back if you're going back to them 2 seasons when he was untouchable.
Neymar for me, yeah.
I think Kevin De Bruyne is the type of midfielder, and I know Neymar can do it too, but he like, for me, is one of the best centre mids of all time I've ever seen. Like, he can play centre mid, he can even play defensively, and he's unbelievable at attack. And some of the passing and just like the way that he can like cross a ball in and things like that, and like he's good with his feet as well. For me, it's Kevin De Bruyne.
De Bruyne's great, but for me, he needs someone to finish those chances that he creates. Whereas Neymar, if you're taking a player who's just going to on his own turn the game, that's him for me.
Yeah, but then like you could argue that you're talking about finishing chances. Shearer's better than Neymar finishing chances.
No, I'm saying De Bruyne needs someone to finish the chances that he creates.
Yeah, I get that, and he's had them players, but like, I
think there's a big gap between De Bruyne and Neymar. Like, if you were talking at their peaks, like De Bruyne has been great, but I'd pick Gerrard over. I'd pick Gerrard over De Bruyne, and I wouldn't put Gerrard anywhere near Neymar.
Again, I think we're talking about if you want someone who can grab the game by the scruff of the neck, Gerrard does that because he's an all-round midfielder.
But what we're talking about,
I think Kevin De Bruyne can too.
The question is,
yeah, he does.
At their peak, who's been the better player? And we're arguing that Neymar was on the verge of Messi and Ronaldo. De Bruyne hasn't been on the verge. He's been an amazing footballer. There's no arguing that. But we're talking Neymar at his peak was fucking here. I would say De Bruyne's peak was consistently here. So again, you go back to that like thing of longevity. De Bruyne probably yes, but
De Bruyne's kind of on a level with someone like Toni Kroos. I would put him.
Yeah.
Even Modric
Modric probably turn up on the Perry on Saturday night like he was supposed to.
Oh, did he not?
No, he didn't turn up. I know people in Chapel House and it was bollocks.
Fucking unbelievable.
What about? Let's go. All right. What about Neymar and Luis Suarez?
For me, I'm taking Suarez
I
for
would
that.
take Suarez too.
I love Suarez as a footballer, and
I like his bite.
Yeah, great bite. He's got the same dynamism that Neymar's got. He's got that element of flair to him. That season, or those last few seasons at Liverpool,
yeah, it was a joke.
Yeah, along with like Gerrard, Sturridge, Sterling, he was just absolutely integral.
Yeah,
and apart from that, I thought it was like the rest of the team was somewhat average.
Yeah,
but like he made them play above themselves so much.
Yeah. I'm going Suarez as well. Like,
I think
I
would Suarez.
He's sensational.
He was just like he had that bit.
I think every club he's been at though, he's been sensational though. So it's not even like the fact he was at Liverpool, even at Barcelona. And I think
you can argue, like at his peak as well, even in the Barcelona years, like him and Neymar were like this here, and Messi was like here, wasn't he? So it was
2015, he was the one who finished 5th. Neymar finished 3rd. Messi won. So it's like they had all 3 of them in that. It just shows the quality in that front
I'm not
3.
taking any Ballon d'Or ratings as to how good of a footballer someone is, to be honest. It just tells you how young.
Suarez did win that like Copa America as well. Now they always think like one of the big signs of a class player, they take quite an average team. And take them and win the tournament. That's why I love Maradona, and Maradona's always the goat for me.
Yeah, fair. So even with how Neymar is now, so I don't know if you've seen much of him. He's actually still balling at Santos again. Would you take him at your club now?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I would.
What?
We're talking about saying we need a Saint Maximan.
I'll
Give me a fucking.
I'll talk about taking him today.
Yeah, today.
You're not going to have
No
Neymar.
way.
You're not going to have Neymar ahead of Anthony Gordon.
Well, for starters, I think there's a massive age gap. He's 34-year-old.
So fuck.
But he's also at he's
I tell you what,
constantly
I'm not
injured.
taking Neymar because it's got fucking Michael Owen written all over it.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not talking about how much he's going to be paid and whether he's going to
No,
do
not
this.
that,
I'm just
not
saying,
that.
would you take Neymar now
As a
and place him
34-year-old?
No,
as a 34-year-old on a
34-year-old
free,
winger.
on
no.
a free,
way.
and he earns £1 a week?
No way.
That's bizarre to me when you think of who we've got as like winger options at Sunderland and Newcastle.
Can you imagine that cold wind just bleaking down the northeast coast and fucking Neymar?
That's
Like,
not, is it about
Baha's
replacing
not
the
even
current
there
winger, or is it
anymore.
about
I think
the
he
fact
like
that
Baha.
is it about replacing the current winger?
Or just if he's here, he might play, he might not play. I'm just saying, if you're going to get him on a free and he earns £1 a week, are you taking Neymar?
For me, no,
How
not
can
now.
you not? How can you not take him and say I wouldn't rather have Neymar coming off the bench than Harvey Barnes or
I would
Elanga
not
or
sign a
Gordon?
34-year-old
starting,
winger.
man.
If we got Neymar on a free for £1, he'd start every fucking week that he was even close to being
Fucking
fit.
he'd be asking for David Ginola to come back and Thierry Henry.
Well, they would still get in
They
your
would
team.
probably still start as well, to be fair. Yeah.
Well,
Thierry would.
after the
See, he's
derby,
busy.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He'll be boxing.
Well, so what about? Do you think he'll go to the World Cup with Brazil? I know he's not been in this
Who,
latest
Neymar?
squad. Yeah,
I don't think he will.
No,
I don't think Ancelotti's going to pick him,
no.
I think
Is it- I
Pele's
think it's-
coming out of the fucking death. He's going to be playing the same.
Yeah.
Of course he's not.
especially with the players in his position. Obviously, there's Vinny Jr., there's
It's a
Rodrigo.
joke. You can't, Shane, you can't take Neymar to the World
Mate,
Cup.
we're going to take Jordan fucking Henderson to the World Cup, so Brazil can take Neymar.
Can't take
Like,
Anthony
fucking
Gordon.
hell.
Yeah, but we don't want.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where it's like, again, right now, is he a player that
Nah.
you would? He's not going to start for Brazil, no
Man,
way. But
look,
like, would you
I
rather
would-
have
I
Neymar
would-
on the bench?
I
Like,
would take him if you could guarantee that it's not going to disrupt the squad.
Yes, that's what.
Yeah.
I was.
Look at Maradona.
But he could have a positive effect too,
Yeah.
because all the Brazilian players fucking love him.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
yeah,
like-
he's-
But it's a
so-
bit like Argentina. They did it with Maradona, didn't they? Then when it was in the US,
Yeah.
where he played really well, and then he found out he was on fucking
Yeah.
drugs when his eyes are popping out
Yeah.
his head.
So I think it's like,
I don't think Neymar's in the right frame of mind to go to the World Cup.
It's a flip.
I don't know. He
It's,
just saved Santos from relegation.
it's a flip of the
It's
dice,
like-
innit? Because like, as much as he could have that effect,
Yeah.
there's also the chance he could undermine the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we've seen those fucking world-class Dutch teams implode when something goes wrong in the camp.
Could
The
he-
French teams as well.
Do you think he could undermine Ancelotti though? Do you not think?
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
he has that much influence with the players because they literally love him, don't they?
Oh
He's like
yeah,
their
he's
hero.
their modern day, as I
So
say,
I
of
think if he
Ronaldinho.
turned around and started saying like, blah, 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 all this,
Yeah.
like then it could go. But I think if you could guarantee that wasn't going to happen,
You'd
Yeah.
take him.
you'd take him as
Yeah.
a like, not as a player to start, but
He's the
like
water boy.
you take him for
The person in the
basically
squad.
what we're taking Jordan Henderson for.
You'd take him
Yeah.
as an impact player though as well, and
You
you'd
would,
also
yeah,
take
yeah.
him in case like Vinny and Rodrigo pick up an injury.
I mean, if you think, I always had this argument with England, where it's like, if you win them by a goal, which we were a lot of times under Southgate, and it was like got near the end and we're fucking 10 men behind the ball and we're just inviting pressure. I was always like, that's why Grealish needs to be in the fucking squad,
Yeah.
because get him on, get the ball and let him get fouled.
Would you take?
And Neymar would be a similar thing.
The
for
other
Brazil,
thing that
wouldn't he?
you'd bear in mind with him is that as much as he fucked off the Saudi for the money and stuff, he's always underachieved for Brazil, so he would still have that hunger,
He
I
would,
think, to
yeah, yeah.
get something over the line this time.
Yeah. So yeah, I would take him if you could guarantee a lot of those things, but you definitely can't. can't
When I say
guarantee them with
underachieve, I know someone will pick us up. Oh, he's Brazil's leading scorer, but what I mean is in big tournaments,
Yeah.
they've not
He
done
never, yeah.
to the
Well, he
extent.
was seen as the shining light after. It was like
Yeah.
Pele.
Mhm.
You had obviously R9
Ronaldo.
and people like that, but I don't think they were ever viewed as
he
the,
was
the
probably the-
saviour, were they? Whereas Neymar was, because
He was probably the last big Brazilian player that you would say had the accolade of following in
Yep.
the footsteps.
But
I,
I
mean,
think
I don't think he has done it.
No, I
for them,
don't.
But,
because when you look at
there's nobody else coming through at the minute, is there?
when Brazil had R9, they also had Rivaldo,
Yep.
Ronaldo, a lot of other players that took a lot of shine.
Yeah.
Whereas I think
Yeah.
they all stopped, and then it was Neymar.
Yeah.
And like he didn't really have anyone competing with him for
Nah,
that, did he? So
And for me, again, I've spent this whole episode talking him up. My critique of him at international level would be that those Brazilian teams that he played in the World Cup, they weren't scrubs.
no, they
They had
weren't,
like fucking Thiago Silva, Marcelo, Alisson, Firmino, Coutinho, players like that,
yeah.
and he just wasn't talismanic enough for them at the biggest level.
Yeah, I think that's a fair argument. So it'll be interesting to see if he does go to the World Cup, though. He'll probably take his sister if he does.
As long as it's not a birthday.